Hello, Talk Funders. Today again, we're joined by Dana and Chip from Storyastic, and we're really going to do a deep dive in their 3 new card games which are live, on Kickstarter. So let's just look at the first game, please, Chip and Dana.
Sure. Well, the first one is called Draul. You can see the D-R-A-U-L, and it's supposed to sound like kind of a Western movie, you know, like a quick draw kind of a thing, but the letters actually stands for down, right, across, up, left. And the game mechanics really work where players, you know, you might have, can you show the cards? Might have like a great hand, right? But so you start with 7 cards, but you have to break them in half and hand 3 to your right. So you might, you know, break what could be a great hand, or you might have nothing, but you're going to get 3 from the person on your left. And then, you know, you sort of have a betting round there. Then you go again and you have to pass across, and then you have to pass left. So it's a very frenetic, interactive game that it's based on a classic poker game called Anaconda. So the game mechanics work really, really well. And what's really fun about it is that it doesn't really matter the quality of the cards as much as how you play them. The strategy of, are you going to, because the you know, down, right, and left are the DRL, right, left, and across, and then the D and the U are for down and up. So at the end, you have to declare whether you're going to play the game high or low. And so you have all these, you know, scoring cubes that you have to put in every time you get a card. And at the end of the round, you pick your 2 hands under the table, and then you bring one of them back up, and then everybody declares whether you have a chip in your hand or not. It tells whether you're playing for the high hand or the low hand. So even if you have a horrible hand, you can change your mind at the end and play low and still get half the points of the pot. So it's really fun game because it keeps all the players very active all the time. It's very interactive with one another, and anybody can win at any time, regardless of if their hand is good.
Yeah, and also, so we just, so if you look at the inside of the game, we took a lot of time in really designing the game components. So everything from the tray that fits in there, holds the cards up. There's a scoring pad. And then just even taking time or paying the extra to go make the color cubes in go in a certain order. So, so it looks good when you take off the box.
Yeah, and so, you know, what retailers have really appreciated is that we don't sell boxes of air. So we, you know, Dana's a former Disney Imagineer. So what we do is we reverse engineer, we figure out what this is supposed to be like in real time in the space that people are playing it, and make the game as big and colorful as possible. But then, just like when they suck the ghost into that little machine in Ghostbusters, it all has to fit super tiny. So, you know, this you can fit in most anything. We also, you know, are trying to build a brand that's, you know, at the level of like a Disney or a Melissa and Doug. So it's always wooden components. The cards are always 300 GSM poker size, so they're thick and they have black core, same kind of cards they would use in like Las Vegas.
Unique design.
Great designs. And then, like, we paid like 35% more to put this game together, making sure when you open it, the colors are in this order and that they match the logo, right? Wow. And so that's like a subconscious thing that we've learned in our professional history through a company called IDEO, which is like the #1 company that works with Apple and Hewlett Packard and Trek Viking Company and stuff to discover what they call latent consumer demands. So nobody would fill a survey and say, I want a smaller box, or I want the colors organized. But, you know, the game companies that make all these stuff, they would just have a dish and you'd throw all that in there. And then when you open the box, you have to fish it all out and separate the colors. In life, we have enough chaos. When you have something in your life like this, it creates peace in your life, right? And it might not be a huge thing, but it's something that we can control for our customers, what we call our guests. And so they might not know how to verbalize the appreciation of it, but we've heard from enough people that have some design backgrounds or have been fed up with buying boxes of air that they really appreciate all that intentionality.
Yeah, fantastic is all I can say. I love it. Let's move on to the second game now.
Talking. Just put it in the camera there. There we go. So this is called Betcha Switchup, right? And so this is also built off of a famous poker game called Follow the Queen, where basically you have one wild card, and then the next card that comes out, it's a 2 or an 8 or whatever, that then becomes wild for the whole rest of the game. And so the biggest problem with that game is that people always say, what's the wild? Because it changes so much. There's, 8 wild cards in the deck, the 4 natural wild cards, and then the ones that come out after the fact. And so we have this tracking board and a little wooden tracking totem that you put on the board. Now, the thing is like when people are throwing their chips in, it can knock this over, but we made it magnetic, right? So it sticks on its side. And this is a thing that costs more money that nobody asks for, but we just feel like that's like a nice feature that people will appreciate. And it's just, maybe we never would get a complaint otherwise, but it's the kind of thing we want to focus on to make an excellent experience for everybody. Then the other bit about this gameplay is that, there's 10 rounds to every game. So everyone has their colored wager wafers. And then they also have 2 for the whole game, 2 +1 wafers. I don't know if that's reading correctly.
Yes, yep.
And so that allows you to get an extra card. So it's just another bit. All the gameplay in every game we make, it doesn't matter if you're in last place. There's always a chance, or at least you believe there is. We did a lot of analytics. There's always a chance you can still win. And so we tried to build in a lot of things like that are outside of normal poker games that just keep everybody involved in the front foot and leaning in.
Yeah. And also what we included was, kind of a cheat sheet or hierarchy of hands card. So each player gets one of these and can kind of see, what you have, what card hand you have, and it helps you strategize and figure out what to do.
Right. The biggest tell in any kind of card game is when you go, what is this better than that? Right. So if everybody has one of these, you can just have a strategy of always kind of glancing at it. So when you need to, it's not a tell. And then the third game, we want to do that one. Swipe, swap, swindle. So that this one it borrows the mechanics from poker, but it's wholly original. There's nothing really like it. When you get a wild card, these look like Target logos, free plug for Target, I guess. When you get a wild card, this is another thing that we kind of wanted to do for gameplay. So that's the card. If you flip it over, you might get a card with a number on it and a suit. But that's the wild card, and you don't need to go consult the rules. It tells you the 4 things you can do with that wild card. And they're kind of obvious, but you want to be easy for people. So the first thing you can do if you get that card is use your swipe.
It's a swindle.
Sorry, but your swipe,
Yeah.
make sure it's right side up, your swipe chip. And that allows you to steal a card from another player. That player would then get to keep this. So even if they're harmed during this game, in a future round, they get an extra swipe. They can steal somebody's card in the future. You can use a swap, and that allows you to switch cards with another player. So you may cause some harm, or you may cause some good unintentionally, but you're getting a card that improves your hand. Or your swindle, which gets you an extra card from the deck, from the dealer. So all those things kind of create madness, but it's organized chaos because there are the framework of the rules. So, but it's just a lot of fun, a lot of lead changes, a lot of comfort behind victories, a lot of strategy and sort of cunning, trying to trick people that your hand might be better. But it's that stealing and swiping and swapping and swindling with everybody that creates all that interactivity and laughter and, just good old fashioned fun without electricity.
Oh, that's a lovely way to put it, that, isn't it? And to create a gamification of conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just talking about the gamification of conversation, this all started with your first really successful Kickstarter last year, which is the rank game.
Yeah, so this is where the phrase came from. And this is also a strategy. People don't usually publicly sign up to eat vegetables, right? They like candy. So they don't go to Disney to ride to eat vegetables. They want to ride a crazy ride and have endorphins release. And the magic trick, of course, is that most of the time that they're at the park, they're standing in line. So there's all this downtime. It's the same is true of life, right? We're kind of like, if I can make it to Friday, or if we can make it to Thanksgiving, or whatever, right? So the game we invented to fill in those moments, those mundane moments of everyday life, and we used to play it verbally all the time. What we did with calling it the rank game is we didn't make it like how to converse together and have lots of fun with meaningful, deep relationships. Now, we did decide to say instant community, just to add people. Personalities explode and relationships flourish. But the game is really the same. It's our listicle society. All the grocery stand checkout magazines say, top 10 favorite whatevers, or, you know, how do you manage your day and get your list of things done and so forth. But it's essentially, it takes 15 seconds to learn, right? There's 4 seasons. You're the ranker, we're the guessers. So we have to put what we think you're going to put in an order of the 4 seasons. So let's just guess, you're in Belfast. Let's say, should we want to put winter last, or
summer?
So maybe summer, spring, fall, winter.
Winter. So what order would you put the, so we would guess summer, spring, fall, winter for you, your favorite.
Yes, definitely summer is my favorite.
Okay.
It got coming up to the equinox, April, May. So that's sort of late spring, early summer.
Yeah.
Spring.
So,
yeah.
And then how about next? Fall or winter and after that?
Definitely fall or autumn, and then winter.
So we would have scored 4 points. But see, the point is, we didn't have to think about that question from our perspective. We have to think about, okay, we've known you for 25 minutes, right? We're like, okay, he's in Belfast. So we kind of, what's the weather like? What's the people like? What's the culture like? And we just draw, you know, deductive reasoning, what will we put first and last? And so that's the gamification of conversation. It's just like, the famous line is, how's the weather? Right. So, it was raining yesterday, and it really doesn't do anything for the relationships. And that's called the icebreaker, but it doesn't do anything versus us having to think about your preferred order. So that's really it. That's the construct. And so there's, 688 cards in all these different categories, and it might be the day of the week. Of course, there are 7 of them, but we put 4, never more than 4. And, the vibe of those 4 choices are quite different. A Tuesday and a Wednesday and a Thursday, they're kind of similar. But so that's why we picked these 4. And there are plenty of cards where it's based on market share, like favorite kind of ice cream, right? Which ones do you put? Do you butter parfait or whatever? No, you put the top 4 selling, which are chocolate vanilla strawberry and chocolate chip mint. And so even if your favorite is butter parfait, we have to say, okay, maybe chocolate. If butter, I don't even know what it is, but butter parfait, this even shows why the gamification part works. Chocolate would be, strawberry would be the least like that. Maybe chocolate would be first. So it would go chocolate and strawberry at the bottom. And then I have to figure out the other 2. Maybe we'll go vanilla and then chocolate chip mint. Right. And so every card is different. It's different topics. And then all those cards are put into different category packs, like guys night, girls night, relationship goals, sports and entertainment, culture.
Yeah.
So that's the rank game. And, really it's the game, we say it's the game about you and your people. So it takes a second to learn, but it's just the part that's been fun for everybody, and all the quality feedback that we hear back from people who've played it is that it's not the game content. They talk about the interactions they had with their tribe, right? And that was the whole reason we made it. So it worked, right? We leveraged people being overwhelmed and having to list things, and we're used to on social media what we like and dislike and all that stuff. So it just takes all those normal human actions and leverages them to promote community with whoever you care about in your life, or you can use it as an icebreaker with people you just met.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for this deep dive. Very comprehensive. So I really like to thank Dana and Chip from Storyastic, who are live on Kickstarter. At the moment, all the links will be in the video description below. And I've actually asked them to stay on to do a backstory, which is coming next. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Bye now.
Thanks so much. Thanks. Bye-bye.